You join me on a chilly autumnal morning, and here with me today is the ZS, a small B-segment SUV from MG. It has sharp looks, a competitive price, but what else does it have? Well, today we're going to find out. Yes, here today we have the MG ZS Exclusive. This is in 1 litre trim, and what that means is, being an exclusive, it's got keyless entry. So if I just walk up to it, no keys in hand, press that little button on there, the mirrors fold out and you can get in. Simple as that. But we'll start by having a look underneath the bonnet of this car, and to do that we have to look down here on the driver's side, and down here are two tabs which are completely identical, so you want to make sure you pull the right one, and it is the one just here on the left. The other one, that's your fuel filler cap. Underneath the bonnet then, let's have a look at the accessibility of all the parts that the home mechanic can do themselves. So in regards to changing bulbs on this car, you can get your hand down here. There's not a huge amount of room, but you can actually still get your hand down here. You've got a lot of room just for this particular bulb, which I think powers the daytime running lights, which I rather like on this car actually. They're very stylish and very sweet to look at. You've got a fuse box here, which is out in the open. Battery, huge thing in this car considering the size of the engine, but nonetheless easily accessible. Coolant just here at the back, lovely pinky purple liquid in there. You got your dipstick to check the oil levels. You got oil fill up spark plugs located underneath plastic, so not massively easily accessible. However, it's only a couple of bolts to remove this plastic cover, so not too bad. On the subject of the oil, I can't see the filter in this. It's probably more likely down towards the engine, but I can see right at the bottom there is quite an open space there we can get your hand through, so you should in theory be able to change the oil filter quite easily on this car. You have your brake fluid just located towards the back here behind all this plastic here, and obviously with the yellow cap marking it out quite clearly. Air filter box, and you got your windscreen washer top up. If we just have a look down here, it's exactly the same type of accessibility on this. Not a huge amount of room on this side actually, because you do have some cables in the way, but you can just lift them up when you need to get access in there. Otherwise, you've got quite a lot of room in here to sort of move around and play with. So good marks to MG there. They've done a good job with that. Also, no gas struts on this particular car. You only get a stick, but a stick works nonetheless. But one thing to mark out where the stick goes, you've got a little arrow printed into the bodywork, and I think that is very good. There we go, that's shut. Let's have a look at the interior of the car. Getting into the MG ZS is relatively easy. The floor is quite high up, so you step up into it, and if you're slightly older you can just sort of sit back into it, which works very nicely. In here you notice all the little details like a carbon fibre type effect here on the dashboard. Don't believe these are soft touch on here, which, never mind, for a car of this price range it's not too bad. But then again, personally I'm not too worried by this sort of thing, but other people might be, so it's something I've got to point out. If we just have a look, you've got your door locking mechanism and handle. This seems to be fairly standard throughout MG's range of cars, as is the buttons for the electric windows. You've got 4 of them all round. I don't believe that all the windows in here are one touch. I think some of them you've got to hold down all the time to actually get it all the way down. Steering wheel, again, standard throughout the MG range. We've got all the buttons you could possibly need to control stereo system, dashboard functions, etc, etc. Wiper controls, many different settings for these. You can change the speed, the amount of wipers it does, I believe. Just literally everything. Automatic wipers as well. You've got the standard air vent up here, door mirror adjustments, lights, headlight height adjustment. There we go, we got there in the end. And obviously horn. Quite high pitched, that one. If we have a look on the dashboard then, I believe it's a digital display on this. Let's put it on. Yes, it is, digital display. MG logo comes up in the middle and it gives you everything you need to know about the car. Speedo on the left and fuel gauge as well. And then you got your rev counter just there on the right hand side. All warning lights obviously come up. Just have a look here. indicators, fairly standard bong for the MG range, plus also your cruise control just set down here, and of course music comes on every time you start up the car. If we go onto the centre console, hazard warning switch just up the top, just there, so fairly easily and accessible when you need it in an emergency. 2 air vents that spread across here. I believe this up here is soft touch though, compared to the door cards, which again, nice little feature. But yes, just here, 10.1-inch touchscreen. As we mentioned already, start stop. We'll go into a bit more detail about the touchscreen in a moment. Down here, piano type keys which control everything on here, again fairly standard through MG's range of cars. And just down here, 12-volt socket and 2 USBs, one for pairing your phone with the screen up here so you can use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You've also got a USB socket for charging any other devices that you might want to charge. You've got hill descent control, traction control off, which is quite interesting, a 360-degree camera, and an eco mode. And then obviously down here, this being the 1 litre engine and manual, you get a 6-speed gearbox, which feels fairly nice to use, but we'll get to try that out in a bit more detail later on when we take this car out for a drive. One feature I really do like about this car is the traditional handbrake. Yes, you don't have any buttons to pull or press. Traditional handbrake, what more can you want in here? You've got 2 cup holders which will store standard cans, an armrest which is extra storage. We've got a phone mount in here as well. Push that down. Seats, they're actually pretty comfy. They're also slightly bucketed in sense. They've got these little bolsters that stick out, so you're definitely held in quite snugly in here, but it's not uncomfortable at all. I also really quite like the MG stitching that's in the headrest, which I think adds neat little details to this. We just go on through here. Glove box, fairly large, fairly sizable for this class of car. Store many documents in. This has got the documentation for this particular car in it. And also on this side, you've got obviously door handles exactly pretty much mirroring the driver's side, only with this one you have a large speaker down there, and you've actually got space enough for a water bottle. So if these are not large enough for you, put your water bottle in the door pockets. Brilliant thinking by MG. Up here on the top though, you've got all your information for the passenger airbags, telling you everything you need to know about those. Your lights for up there. Door warning system, I imagine that's maybe how you turn the bongs off, not 100% sure in this car. And also your controls for the panoramic sky sunroof. It's all rather lovely here in the front. So here then we're going to have a look at the 10.1-inch display. It looks to be pretty much the same display that's in the MG HS as well. That was also 10.1-inch, just mounted slightly differently in this car. Over here then we've got obviously your Bluetooth setting, navigation. In this car it takes 25 seconds to load up, so we're not going to do that with this. I have been told though the MG ZS EV, basically the electric version of this very car, that's got a new system on it which takes 3 seconds to load, which is pretty impressive when you think they've gone 25 seconds down to 3. I will say this is the exact same system that exists in every other MG car other than the new ZS EV. You've got your air conditioning settings just over here on the right hand side. Down there, phone, just click on that, it's going to come up. There you go, lovely, simple and easy. We go back to home, you've got car, which gives you everything you need to know about the car and everything you can change about it. Very nice, isn't it? We go back, we got setup. So again, this tells you pretty much everything about the system and the settings for this display, so you can change the audio and whether you have the sound beeps at a high level of volume or not, and also your EQ settings. You can adjust it to your heart's content. You can also, it seems, adjust the sound depending on where you are in the car. So if you wanted to, you can move that more over to the passenger side or more over to the driver's side. but we'll keep that centrally. And music comes on as well. If we go back to home, just down there, 360-degree view camera, so you can play around with that. So there we go, you get a lovely little model of the MG ZS, and you can see roughly where we are in the car park here today. But it gives you a good idea of what to expect. And if I move it around that side, there's my little Fiat Panda in the background. Happy days. If we go back, oh, you got to press the button up there, not press the home button that's just located down there. And you can also access the 360-degree camera through that button down there, as we mentioned earlier. You've also got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can see your pictures and video whilst driving, or you can turn things off, which isn't doing it at the minute because I didn't press it properly, but you can turn the screen off whilst driving so it isn't distracting. Just down here then, obviously home button for this whole screen, so you can keep going back to the home menu, volume up and down, so obviously up, down, fan off. The rear screen and front screen controls just here. You got fan speed and temperature control. As we mentioned earlier, you can access that all through the touch screen as well, but the button's there just to make it simple. Getting into the back of the ZS is incredibly easy. This seat is in my driving position and I've got quite a lot of knee space actually, and foot room. That's not too bad either in here. Headroom with a panoramic roof, obviously it actually eats into the roof of the car, which gives you about an inch or two more headroom, which fantastic. Obviously with the blind over, not going to quite have as much, but still more than adequate in here. You quite easily wear a top hat of some sort, or a bowler hat. Probably a bowler hat's more likely. Anyway, I digress. In the back here, not really much to report on really. Door handle just up here. Electric window switch located quite easily and simply just here. You've got quite a small pocket, however still big enough for a 500ml water bottle. Speaker just down there. These rear pockets on the back of the seats, these are a lot better than the ones on the HS, which is just literally a plastic basically cover. Go and watch my HS reviews if you want to see what those are like. But these are just simply a lot better. Down here you've got some tiny storage, which I can imagine you can store maybe sweets or mints or something like that, or even a very, very small phone or MP3 player. And you've also got USB sockets for the back, which are quite useful. You do get quite a bit of a lip in the back here, so anybody sat in the middle, you'll probably have to sort of straddle that side by side or suffer with your feet just slightly higher up. But that's not going to be a problem for a child, but for an adult, maybe it will be. In the back here then, no central armrest, no cup holders. These obviously go up a bit more if you put real effort into it, which I'm not going to do. But yeah, there's not really a huge amount to report in here. Space-wise, you've got quite a bit of room going along the width of the car. The panoramic roof, as always with these things, kids are absolutely going to love these things. I mean, I know I do, and I'm just a big kid, so yeah, the younger ones, they're really going to like that. But in the back, there's not really a whole lot to report on. So with that said, let's go and have a look at the boot of the car. As we come around to the back of the car then, you will notice all the little details down here. You've got parking sensors, you've got obviously your reversing camera located just down here above the number plate, and these exhaust tips, which aren't exhaust tips, they are completely and utterly fake. Now you may notice there isn't really a way to get into the boot here, there's no space underneath, but you see, MG have thought of that. What they've done is integrated it into the badge. Very simple. But as we look here in the boot today, tiny bit of a mess, but not to worry. In here, with the seats up, we've got 448 litres. And when obviously the seats are down, you get 1,375 litres of space. The seats do fold 60-40, which means if you want to carry 4 people, just fold down the one side, or if just 3 people, fold down the other side. Or you can fold them both down. The choice is completely yours. In the back here, not really too many features to speak of per se. You've got one little light just located in here. The floor does lift and obviously lower depending on what you want to have in the boot of this car. Obviously if you raise it up, you've got less of a load lip to get luggage in here. Underneath, I have to move all these. Underneath, you don't get a spare tyre in this car, but you do get a tyre inflator kit and plenty of space around it as well. And you've also got a little baskety type net in here, which means you can store extra little things. Basically that's to stop items from falling underneath the floor when it's in the higher up position, which is quite useful. But yeah, it's not really too much to mention in regards to the boot, however it is very usable. The boot space in here is not bad at all for the size of car. It's only a tiny bit smaller than the MG HS, which is the next class of car up in size. So again, very usable space. However, if you do want more practicality out of your ZS, what you can do is buy roof bars for this car, and they will hold up to 75 kilograms in weight. And if you really want to have even more practicality, you can add a tow bar to this car to pull a trailer. And yes, I did say trailer, because this will only tow up to 500 kilograms braked or unbraked, which, to put it lightly, if you want something that's going to tow a small caravan, this maybe is not the car for you. Maybe look at something like the HS. But other than that, pull the boots down, it's a little handle, just shut like that, and that's really all there is to it. I think we've had a good look around the ZS. Let's take it for a drive. Welcome viewers aboard the MG ZS. It was launched in China in March 2017 and then put on sale here in the UK later on in that very same year. That was the pre-facelift model. This here, the car we're driving today, is the facelifted version which came in 2020. The facelifted version comes with a new revised bumper, which gives it a bit more of an aggressive and sporty look. It also comes with LED headlights. It also comes with brand new fog lights. Those are the external differences between the facelifted version and the pre-facelift. As with all other MG cars, there are two trim levels available for this car. You've got Excite and Exclusive. Excite comes in at a whisker under £16,000 at £15,995, and Exclusive starts at just a whisker under £18,300. The ZS comes with two engine choices. You've got the 1.5 litre manual, which is naturally aspirated, 5-speed gearbox. It gives you 105 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 10.5 seconds, and a top speed of 109 miles an hour. Or you've got the engine that we've got in this very car, the 1 litre 3-cylinder turbo. That gives you a 6-speed gearbox. Power is about 110, 0 to 60 much the same as the 1.5, 10.5 seconds, and a top speed of 112 miles an hour. You also get the choice of an automatic 6-speed gearbox with the 1 litre engine. However, the manual is a lot more economical and it's quicker. Tax on this car, £155 per year, and the insurance group is insurance group 11, which is actually very low for a car of this segment. It's very good. The safety on the ZS, when tested as the pre-facelifted model back in 2019, they gave you 3 stars in Euro NCAP tests. With these 3 stars you get blind spot monitoring, electronic stability control tyre pressure monitoring system, hill launch assist, which is basically a hill start where you don't actually have to apply the handbrake type of deal, and emergency brake assist. The rivals of this car, the 2 closest ones, are the SsangYong Tivoli and the Dacia Duster, the prices of which are actually fairly comparable. If you want a wider choice of rivals, you have things like the Nissan Juke, the Hyundai Kona, the Kia Stonic, and the Seat Arosa. All of those particular cars cost a lot more if you try and spec them up to the same spec as this MG ZS. For this opportunity, once again, for driving the ZS, I'd like to thank MG Motor UK. They've been incredibly supportive of both myself reviewing their cars and of course supplying cars, so thank you very much to them. And of course to Joseph Lloyd for bringing this car down to me today to review. If you want to check out any videos on the pre-facelifted model of the ZS, go and check out his channel, Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. He has plenty of videos on the ZS. I think what we should do now is park up and just summarise my experience with the MG ZS. If you're looking for a spacious yet small SUV, the MG ZS should definitely be considered. It's loaded with technology, and its price actually makes it very competitive with Superminis such as the Ford Fiesta, Vauxhall Corsa and the Renault Clio. Oh, and did I mention, because it's an MG, it comes with a 7-year warranty as standard. And quite frankly, that makes this car wonderful. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, let me know what's your favourite thing about the MG ZS. And of course, if you want to see more car-based content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because there's plenty more of it coming up on the channel very soon. That's it from me for now, so thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, I shall say farewell.